Hello friends, my name is Shilpa Kakkar. I am from M.B. Patel English Medium Secondary and Higher Secondary School. Today I am back with History of 12th Standard. We are going to continue chapter number 10, The Process and Progress of Strong Nation Building. We are talking about the development, the progress done after independence, after 1947. You all know education was not given importance during that time, during the British rule. So it was a type of challenge for India because there were no primary schools, very few secondary schools were there, and higher education was not at all given any importance during that time. Even though we cannot blame completely British rule, because one of the modern educationist, William Bentinck, he started modern education in India. He believed that people should be educated, and with Raja Ram Mohan Roy he made good efforts to educate Indians. When India became independent, primary schools were not there. So it was a challenge for the government to first set up primary schools. But at that time, the challenge was that also that the people were not aware and they were not at all serious for the studies. They did not give importance to education, and that is why the literacy rate was very low. So it was a challenge for the government to make people aware about the importance of education, and that is why primary education started, because it is the basic necessity and requirement of the time. It was made compulsory because people were not understanding the importance, and that is why primary education was made free and compulsory. In the initial stage, we did not find much response from the people, but with the establishment of Panchayati Raj, primary education spread faster, and we could see that good emphasis was given in the 5-year plans also. First 3 5-year plans mainly they targeted the primary education because it was the necessity of the time. The Indian government accepted the principle of Shri B.G. Kher. Under his presidentship, education committee was set up, and we have accepted basic education in primary section. It also introduced the basic training all over India within a span of 3 5-year plans. During 3 5-year plans, many junior basic and senior basic schools were opened. At the time of the third 5-year plan, primary schools were converted into total basic training schools, which could be considered as unprecedented achievement. The basic training schools were more expensive as compared to the primary schools, and because of that, we could see a very slow progress in that. Although there was a satisfactory spread of primary education, but again the issues were there of inadequate attendance in school of students in rural areas. Even dropout was too much, and dropout means people after studying 1 2 3 4 standard, they were not continuing with 7th and 8th standard, and very hardly people were studying till 8th standard. After that, they were not continuing their secondary and higher secondary education. So the dropout ratio was very high, and even today it is there. As compared to that time, it is low, but at that time the dropout ratio was very high. Moreover, inadequate facilities were there. The primary schools were established, but there were no infrastructure, facilities for the students, and the students were not getting basic necessities, basic facilities. The government and the Gram Panchayat would have created awareness in this direction, but we did not meet the required result. With that, people made efforts in primary education for the spread of primary education, and with that they have developed the higher secondary education also. The development of higher education was challenging. During the British rule, higher education received more encouragement and assistance when we compare to primary education. As a result, in India, there has been great progress of higher education in comparison with primary education. When India became independent, the Central Educationary Advisory Board had passed a resolution and had recommended to appoint a commission for secondary education, and with that, the government appointed the secretary under the leadership of Madras University's Vice Chancellor, Dr. A. Lakshman Swamy Mudaliar. He set up the committee, and active steps were taken by the government after the commission submitted its report. It is called as Mudaliar report, in which commission had made recommendations. The government appointed University Education Commission in 1948 under the chairmanship of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, and within the year they have submitted the report to establish universities. The recommendations were like the syllabus of the universities should be uniform, and medium of instruction largely should be mother tongue. To increase the number of colleges imparting education in engineering, agriculture, medicine, law, professionals, diploma, and increased vocational courses. Moreover, they have suggested to establish University Grants Commission (UGC). A number of students in colleges was decided. Modification in the syllabus and education's examination system was done. Even the salary of the lecturers increased. The report of Kothari Commission was unique and had brought revolutionary changes in the history of Indian education. It was published in 1966. Majority of its recommendations were accepted, and according to the Government of India, framed the National Education Policy in 1968. In the new policy, apart from the maintenance of educational standards, there was emphasis on the spread of primary and adult education. Here, adult education means the people who could not get education during their school years, or they have left the studies in between, after completing their 8th standard, 10th standard, metric. At that time 11th standard was there as metric. So these people, those who want to study, they can study in the schools specially formed for them. Even night schools were also there, so that those who are working during the daytime, they could study during the night time. And that is why this national education policy had good recommendations which were accepted by the government. Students, you know, now new education policy has been proposed. It will be implemented now. Still, there are 125 points which the government has kept open for their suggestions, for the suggestion of the common man, so that people can give their suggestions and they can give the better look to the new educational policy. Then they had established the universities. These universities, they were given prominence with the help of UGC. The universities were running. State level agendas were there. Banaras, Delhi, Aligarh, Vishwa Bharati, Jawaharlal, Lucknow University are central universities which were given the prominence by University Grant Commission. And the other universities, the colleges, the institutes which were established during that time: Indian Institute of Sciences at Bangalore, Indian Agricultural Research Institute at Delhi, Indian School of International Studies, Delhi, Tata Institute of Social Science, Mumbai, Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani, Indian School of Science, Dhanbad. These institutions were established after independence. The institutes deemed as universities as per the UGC Act, such as Gujarat Vidyapeeth, Kashi Vidyapeeth, Jamia Millia Islamia Aligarh University, Gurukul Kangdi, came into existence. And we have been able to make a remarkable progress in the field of higher education. With that, technical and IIT institutes were given importance. There were special recommendations made by Kothari Commission for quality improvement in educational institutions and the facility for world-class education, training and research in the Indian universities. Accordingly, an IIT and Agriculture University was added. Earlier, there was only Thomson College, which was the first engineering college in India. Beta, you should know that which was the first engineering college in India. And today we know that college by the name of Roorkee Engineering College, which was named Roorkee Engineering College in 1948. This is the matter which shows that education was given importance, but they were not giving the prominence to education, higher education in India. Today, we have so many research institutes. There are 20 research institutes such as Central Glass and Clay Work Institute, that is in Jadavpur, Central Energy Research Institute at Bihar, which are actively involved in the field of technology. Besides this, there has been increase in the number of professional training institutes in the field of medicine, law, agriculture, music, sculpture, dairy industry, journalism, and veterinary sciences. There is a noteworthy increase in the number and quality of training colleges for pre-primary, primary, and secondary school teachers. The Government of India established NCERT, that is National Council of Educational Research and Training. And under the guidance of this institute, State Council of Educational Research and Training was established in every state. Beta, you are studying with NCERT syllabus. You all know that. And the state board is there. So these are the things which were developed after independence. These people worked too hard for us to make us read and write. We should be thankful to our government, to those people, those who have established the education policy with their farsight. Their farsightedness was as such that and because of them, we are able to reach to this level. We are very thankful to those people and to the people, those who are still working for the progress and the development of India and the education in India. Students, here I end with my topic on education in India after independence. For better understanding, read the chapter, go through it, and if you have any doubt, you can contact me. Thank you.